Welcome to another tactical puzzle explained. I'm National Master Mike Mestres. In this position is black to move. This position is quite sharp, so make sure you pause the video and try to analyze all the best candidate moves that you could possibly find in this position. Okay, assuming that you have done so, let's go ahead and take a look at this position ourselves. Well, we can see that white is sort of up the exchange, but white has some menacing pawns and a very powerful bishop and knight that can really just help those pawns try to create problems. They sure will overwhelm the rook, so I'm not worried. I could not say that in this position, material wise, that black is winning. I don't believe so, because white has enough compensation with the pawns and the pieces that he has. So let's take a look at this position from another angle. We can see that the white king is sort of in the corner, the black queen is close to him, even though it looks like she's alone. She's there, and we can bring some pieces to that side. For example, bishop to h3 looks like a simple tactic. We're threatening checkmate. It cannot be defended, because if rook g1, then simply we just take the bishop first and then we'll pick up the knight, and this is just an easy win now for black. So the bishop must be taken, and after the bishop is captured, then we capture on f3, bishop g2 of course, and then capture on c3. This should be a very logical candidate continuation that the students should be able to find. This forks the queen and the rook. So after some exchanges, knight takes a8, bishop takes a8, then now clearly we see that this is not good for black. After bishop takes b7, yes, black is still up the exchange, but these pawns now are going to be very hard to stop, and I do believe that in this position black is completely lost. For example, after bishop to e5, then simply we can make the move a5, and the idea is simple. We want to advance this pawn and then the c6 pawn. So if this bishop gets on the b8 to try to stop the pawn, now c6, and we're going to push the pawn forward. If black sacrifices the rook to try to stop the pawns, then again it doesn't make a difference. We can just play a6, c6, and if the king is not fast enough, we can calculate that out. We can simply just push the pawn on a7 and then c7, and then the queen squares white, so we should be able to win. So after simply calculating that endgame is not favorable, we don't have to see all the way to the end, but simply calculating up to this position, we can clearly see that it'll be very hard for black to win this position. We should decline this variation of bishop h3, but we shouldn't decline on the idea, because we can clearly see how we can expose the white king. So we should look for other ideas, and then this comes to mind, this insane looking move. Rook takes a4, and now rook takes a4 forks the queen and the rook, so white should capture the rook, but now bishop h3 looks even stronger. For example, after bishop takes, queen takes, and now the move bishop g2 doesn't work because of the back rank, a popular theme that we've been studying on these lessons. Now bishop f1 simply leads to checkmate. Of course, there's one more move to consider, and that is king to g1. But then again, we see that we can bring other pieces to the fight, and after bishop takes c3, attacking the powerful white queen, we're threatening actually a stronger move, which is bishop to d4, leading to checkmate. So in this position, white probably has to give up the queen, and then now black has superior material advantage, and more importantly, the white pieces are totally disconnected from each other. They're not coordinated. The king is still weak and in trouble from all the checks that the black queen can provide, and I think some of those pieces and pawns are going to fall off right off the board. For example, let's just find a logical move, knight to d5, attacking the queen, getting the knight back into the game. Then now black can follow with queen to d4 check, king g2, queen d2 check, and it doesn't matter whether the white king goes to f3 or the back rank, we're going to check on d1 and fork and get the rook. For example, king f1, queen d1 check. You can see that we're going to capture the rook next. Or if king f3, then the same move. queen d1 check, and then we capture the rook. Let's go back to the beginning of the puzzle so we can understand how this happened. Sometimes we have tactics on one side of the board, in this side of the board where the king is, but they're not complete. That's because we need to move pieces that are defending that side indirectly, like the rook, and that's why this move rook takes a4 is possible. So you should take some time in these very complex positions to calculate how you can break through, and that's how you will be able to find these moves. These tactical puzzles are a bit hard, so by trying to solve them, your calculation skills will also grow, and it'll make you stronger. I hope you have enjoyed this puzzle. See you next time.